4, 3, 2.
Hello and welcome. I'm Justin Hicks here with John Hudson, Leslie Esselgroth, Will Hasherman, and Dalvin Buchanan. Today we're here in the MTC building with fellow students from the Intro to Mass Comm class, and we're reviewing some of the discussions from the classroom. First up, we're talking about how a few giant conglomerate companies like Comcast, Disney, Fox, Viacom have more and more control over the world of media. Inevitably, this media control on our society has some effects on us. So, to get started, first question. Let's see what we're doing. How are various media outlets gatekeepers of information, and how is control over information affecting our economy or our government?
Well, and control the information to the people affects all these things so much, especially when it comes to culture. Culture, it affects our values and it affects our wants or needs or whatever. So it does have a really lasting control because it has a lasting control because it affects what we know, what we our values,
Right.
and how they can change.
And these companies are first and foremost these days businesses. They want the ratings for their own content to be out there, as well as to get the ratings for the commercials that's paying for their programming.
Okay.
I think
John?
it puts a certain perception on different topics, you know what I'm saying? And they put out what they want to perceive about certain people so it can control people's mind, the way of thinking, scare people on some topics, make people angry on some topics. I think it persuades people a lot when they control information.
Okay. Delvin, anything to add to that?
I mean, if it don't make money, they don't want it.
Well, right. I like your style. I like it. Okay. Question number 2. Newscasts are a main source of profit for TV stations. What is the impact of showing stories that generate revenue rather than showing stories that are the important for public well-being?
Well, when it comes to that, a lot of news stations, they're not by law obligated to talk about stories, just the facts or, just because it's relevant or because people really need to know about it. It's more on a feel-good system like ratings and views and stuff like that. They're more likely to get more ratings, more views, more money if they talk about feel-good stories or, whatever, than less popular stories that people may need to hear or anything like that. It's more onto who can speak the loudest and who can bring their content up first.
It's in the best interest of the companies to keep morale high.
Okay.
I think money is the root of all evil. So sometimes
Okay.
when you're doing things for a money purpose, stuff isn't positive. It's negative stuff that they're promoting. So I think it can be a bad thing when you're really promoting stuff for money rather than good, positive information that can help people.
Right. So you're saying they would rather have like a cat doing some kind of funny video instead of showing people in Syria, like impoverished people in society, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
No question on that.
Yeah. Easy. Yeah. Okay. All right. Question number 3 says, what about entertainment media, film, television, and music? If corporate media doesn't see profit in a particular worldview, they are unlikely to produce that content. What are the implications of freedom of speech opportunities?
Well, a long time ago, if you asked me about that, I would say it would have really, really huge complications. But nowadays, you see a lot more on independent artists and stuff like that. Like when it comes to the music industry, there's not quite as much problems because you see like SoundCloud and Bandcamp and stuff like that, where all these independent artists are getting their voice out, they're getting their music out, and they're making money. However, it does still have a problem though on like TV, news, or movies or anything like that because funding is very detrimental to that.
Right. Okay.
It's really hard to get funding, especially if you're an indie producer.
Okay.
You have there is a thriving market for artists who want to promote political messages. Like, art is the best media for that, and music is out there. Actual physical art is out there. You have Father John Misty, A Tribe Called Quest, Gorillaz, all promoting really political, really just messages that are hitting hard.
Yeah, and it's also like, in a way, it's like the more content you push out, the more you'll build your audience. And I think most record labels are like abusing that. They're like telling their artists to drop this, drop this, drop this. But when they actually spend their time and like, you know, craft their album, they're not allowed to release it because it doesn't go against their standards and whatnot.
I wonder if that's what happened with Kanye and Bound 2. Like,
Oh yeah,
that
I've
was
heard
just,
about this. Yes.
Yeah.
That was just really horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it is. I think, you know, even in like music and media, they can try to control what they want you to put out. That's to me, sometimes it can be good, I guess, and then a lot of times it can't. I think it's driving people to be more independent and back their own money so they can put out what they want. Just like, you know, how we talked about how Netflix is thriving. You have a lot of independent movies and stuff because people don't want
They
to have
can
to
bypass the big
yeah,
companies.
The big companies, they want to put out what they want to put out, talk about what they want to talk about. I think media is gonna lean more towards that, more independent stuff. People
Yeah, the
putting out their own
technology
thing.
is enhanced and comes so much farther
Farther.
than it used to be. That there is a market for that now.
It used to be like any of these this equipment, while it's still unbelievably expensive, it's becoming more accessible. There's so many more production companies out now, especially startups and indie companies, and it's making it a lot easier for the tides to shift to more to the people than the corporation.
Okay, you guys really seem to know what you're talking about. It's good. Okay, question number 4. Do you think the internet will eventually provide a way for more people to have a voice, or will corporate domination eventually take over and limit public dialogue?
That's exactly kind of
You just
what we
said,
got at.
Yeah. No,
Internet.
when it comes to the internet, it's all just several voices all at once. So it really depends on where you look at. Like, there's always going to be where there's like one corporation, this would be like 5 million people trying to get their voices out, and in a way that kind of clouds like the message. Like like so many people have so many truths that you really don't know which one.
Right.
So it makes it a bit harder,
Right, you don't know
when you
which
have
one to actually believe in.
Right, especially when it's like YouTubers or something like that, where a lot of them are like, backed by sponsors or something like that, or YouTube, since it's now like owned by Google, they kind of have to say within what they say. Like, they can't talk about what they want, more as what fits their company's ideals.
Okay. And do you think that corporations have already limited dialogue, like like Facebook identifying fake news, Twitter limiting like hate speech?
See, the thing I hate about using the word hate speech is a lot of people use hate speech and not quite understand what that means. A lot of people use it as a term of like, your opinion is different from mine. It might be unpopular, but it's different from mine, so I don't like it, so it's hate speech. Like, the thing is, when it comes to the freedom of speech, everyone has that right, whether or not how right or wrong they are, or whether you like it or not, you have that freedom of speech. Of course, it comes with consequences with everything you say, but they still have that thing. Like, the best we can do is be respectful towards that and not lower ourselves to them. Otherwise it kind of justifies whatever hate speech they might have.
Okay. Cool. And does anybody have anything in closing that you would like to add that maybe people would like to know?
Yeah, well, when you try to limit what you put, like when the government tries to limit what we put on the internet, that's kind of like a good thing and a bad thing. Like, the bad thing is like our content isn't getting put out, you can't see it, blah blah blah. But then at the same time, it's gonna make the audience that you're portraying it to like hungry and like trying to find different ways to find your outlet. Next thing you know, everybody has a VPN trying to like download your new album or something like that, and they couldn't do it before. But now you're just building up that audience.
And all these underground artists
Yeah.
and content producers are gaining that following.
Yeah, and it's just like you limit it, but people will always find a way around it.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no suppressing free speech.
Yeah.
Not in this day and age.
You gotta look how far we come because we didn't have internet. Now we have Facebook and Twitter and everybody and like you're saying, BuzzFeed, just different outlets to put stuff out. I think it's gonna continue to grow and be a good thing.
Yeah.
I think it would be a good thing though if like one of them did die out, and that's probably BuzzFeed. Who really
okay,
gets
yeah,
their
we just
news
get rid
from
of
BuzzFeed?
BuzzFeed. Yeah,
fake
it's just
news
gone.
can go,
No.
man.
Just throw it around.
I mean, I don't care what kind of puppy I am. I already know I'm a husky, so
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
I like Huskies.
Yeah.
So, well, everybody, thanks for tuning in today. I would like to special thank my guests for showing up, and I'm Justin
you.
Hicks, and that's
Thanks.
it. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is where we fold our papers.
Yes.